Shri Gurudev, welcome back to my YouTube channel Janasnehi Edu Help Desk. This is Ravian, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, BGS Institute of Management Studies, Chikbalapur. Dear students, in this video I am going to explain the concept Ind-AS 104, that is insurance contracts. Ind-AS 104 insurance contracts. So Indian Accounting Standard 104 deals with insurance contracts. So first of all, we should know the objective of the Ind-AS 104. So the objectivity of this Ind-AS 104 is Ind-AS 104 is to specify the financial reporting for insurance contracts by any entity that issues such contracts. So here, already I think you might have know about who is an insurer and who is a policy holder. So here, insurer is the person who gives an insurance policy or who provides an insurance policy to the policy holder, and the policy holder or insured is the person who got an insurance policy from insurance company. Okay, so here that any insurance company who deals with the insurance contracts has to specify the financial reporting so that to by that entity. Okay, so that company which dealing with insurance contracts has to report their insurance contracts to the different stakeholders, that is interested parties. Okay, so as when I come to the objectives of that insurance contract, so as per Indian Accounting Standard 104, the first objectivity is to this is very required to limited improvements to accounting by insurers for insurance contracts. So the first objectivity of the insurance contracts as per Indian Accounting Standard 104 is to provide an improvements, the two are limited improvements to accounting, the two by insurers for insurance contracts. The insurance companies usually deals with insurance contracts. For those insurance contracts, so they need to follow an accounting procedure, that is what identification, measuring, classification, all those accounting procedure they has to follow, and they has to prepare financial statements with regard to insurance contracts. So while they preparing financial statements, so they need to make some improvements. So periodically they has to add something to the insurance contracts or accounting procedures. So each and every year they need to make some changes. That is what limited improvements has to be made. Okay, so in order to make such improvements, there is a requirement of insurance contracts, that is Ind-AS 104. Okay, so that is the first and foremost objective. And secondly, to disclose the disclosure that identifies and explains the accounts in an insurer's financial statements arising from insurance contracts. So and one more objective of the Ind-AS 104 is disclosure, which going to identify and which will explain the amounts in an insurance financial statements. So insurers is nothing but the company which going to provide insurance policy to the holders. Okay, so they need to disclose and identify the certain things in a financial statements. So what and all the things will disclose and identify, so they has to explain the amounts so in an insurance financial statements. So insurance company has to disclose the information regarding the amounts, which will explain the disclosures as well as which identifies the insurance contracts. Okay, so this is also one objectivity of the insurance contracts as per Ind-AS 104. And nextly, to help users of those financial statements and make them understand the amount, the timing and uncertainty of future cash flows from the insurance. So finally, the final objective of the Ind-AS 104 is to make the users to understand such users of financial statements, that is ultimately the users of financial statements of insurance companies, insureds, that is policy holders. Okay, so who have taken policies, they are policy holders, so they are the ultimate users of the financial statements of insurance companies. Okay, so to help that users, those financial statements, and they should make them understand the amount which is included in the financial statement and timing of preparation of that financial statement, and even the uncertainty of future cash flows from the insurance companies. Okay, so to make them understand about the insurance company and the insurance contracts and even the financial statements of the insurance company. So these are the objectives of the insurance contracts as per Ind-AS 104. Okay, and next we'll go to a scope of the Ind-AS 104. What is the scope of this standard Ind-AS 104? See, it covers, and the Ind-AS 104 applicable to an entity, uh, the insurance contracts. Firstly, it is applicable to the insurance contracts including reinsurance contracts that it issues and reinsurance contracts that it holds. Okay, so the Ind-AS 104 covers the aspect of insurance contracts along with the reinsurance contracts. So insurance contracts which have been dealing by insurance companies, and the reinsurance contracts which is held by the insurance companies only. Okay, so both the aspects it covers, and it applicables to those insurance contracts as well as reinsurance contracts. And secondly, it covers the financial instruments that it issues with a discretionary participation feature. Okay, so whatever the instruments dealing by the insurance companies, so which having a discretionary participation feature. Discretionary participation feature in the sense, there are some instruments like different policies of insurance companies, like life insurance policies. In that different policies, in a general insurance we have a number of policies. So those are the discretionary participation feature. So they're having some unique feature, that is discretionary participation feature. Okay, so those instruments it covers. Okay, financial instruments which having a discretionary participation feature. So this is covered under the Indian Accounting Standard 104. So this is what the scope of Indian Accounting Standard 104. Okay, and nextly we will go to the Indian Accounting Standard 104 requires a disclosure. What are the disclosure requirements? Disclosure requirement as per 104. Ind-AS 104. So firstly, there are two requirements. So in that first, let me explain the first thing. An insurer shall disclose the information that identifies and explains the amounts in its financial statements arising from insurance contracts. So here, firstly, majorly here, majorly the insurer, that means insurance company, can disclose the information which identifies and explains the amounts, the two in a financial statements, the information which is existed in the financial statements, so that will be identified by the certain things, and which will explain the amounts which is existed in a financial statements of the insurance companies which regarding insurance contracts. Okay, so that is that has to be disclosed to the interested parties. In that, its accounting policies for insurance contracts and related assets, liabilities, income and expenses. See, the company has to disclose in the financial statements as well as per Ind-AS 104. The company has to disclose as per Ind-AS 104 the accounting policies which is being implemented for the preparation of financial statements and insurance contracts with related to an accounting policies and related assets, liabilities, incomes and expenses. So all those things has to be disclosed in a as per disclosure requirement. And nextly, the recognized assets, liabilities, incomes, expenses and cash flows arising from insurance contracts. So any assets or liabilities or any incomes or any expenses or any cash inflows or outflows, so which is been arising from the insurance contracts, so that is to be recorded and that should be disclosed to the interested parties as per Ind-AS 104. So this is one disclosure requirement. And nextly, the information about the assumptions, assumptions regarding what, which having the greatest effect on the measurement of assets, liabilities, incomes and expenses. So which having a effect of the liability, effect on the assets, liabilities and incomes and expenses. So in the financial statements of insurance companies, so information regarding those, there should be an assumptions like concepts and conventions. So concepts and conventions is nothing but assumptions and ideologies, right? So as per Ind-AS, there are some assumptions which is related to the assets, liabilities, incomes and expenses of the insurance companies. Okay, so information regarding those assumptions has to be disclosed to the interested parties. And nextly, the effect of changes in assumptions, if any changes is been made to that assumptions, so which means consumption, conventions and concepts regarding insurance companies, so that has to be disclosed to the interested parties. And even reconciliations of changes in insurance liabilities, insurance assets, if any changes is made. Yes. So the effect of changes in assumptions has to be disclosed, as well as reconciliation of changes in insurance liabilities, and even in insurance reinsurance assets also is to be disclosed as per Ind-AS 104. Okay. And the second thing is, an insurer shall disclose information that enables users of its financial statements to evaluate the nature and extent of risk arising from insurance contracts. Okay, so here the insurer, which means insurance company, so even they can disclose the information regarding financial statements, which enables to understand and to evaluate the nature and extent of risk arising in the preparation of financial statements and even in insurance contracts. Okay, so while preparing the financial statements of insurance companies, so what and all the risk will be arise. So okay, in order to evaluate that risk, as well as in order to know the nature of risk, that can be disclosed and that has to be disclosed to the interested parties. Okay, so with regarding those risks, so here the risk management objectives, policies and processes has to be disclosed. Okay, what and all the risk will be arise in the insurance contract, and how they going to manage those risk, and what are the policies they have implemented, and what and all the process they have implemented to mitigate those risks, that has to be disclosed. Okay, because insurance contracts is nothing but which involving the risk factor. Okay, heavily that involves risk factor. So how they are going to manage that risk, insurance company, how they mitigate the insurance risk, okay, or risk involved in insurance contracts, so that has to be disclosed to the policy holders. And nextly, information about insurance risk, that may be risk arising before the contract or after the contract. Okay, or both before and after the risk mitigation by reinsurance. So the risk which is involved in an insurance contract, that has to be disclosed to the interested parties. And along with these, finally, information about credit risk, liquidity risk and market risk. Okay, so here the credit risk relating to credit aspects. Okay, and liquidity risk which will arise in companies, that is insurance companies, that has to be disclosed. And market risk in the sense whenever they are promoting their policies or products of insurance company, so there are some risk factor. Okay, there is a chances of arising risk. Okay, so that has to be disclosed to the interested parties. So these are the requirements as per Ind-AS 104, and Ind-AS requires these disclosures. Okay, I hope you understand. Thank you all. Jai Shri Gurudev.